tracks from around the globe.
Hi everyone, Kira Schaefer here, and I am with, as always, Todd Schaefer. Hi Todd.
Hello.
We are coming at you to talk about what it takes to go from working a 40-hour-a-week job to owning your own business. There is a lot to this subject. I just want you to know that we're just going to cover some of the basics just so you can get an idea. How easy it is and how challenging it can be. You know, I heard this quote once, something like, you know, only someone who's self-employed will quit a job 40 hours a week to work a job 80 hours a week or something like that. And I tend to agree with that, but I will say working for yourself is, I believe, significantly better than working for anyone else, because you are devoted to your own goals, your own ideals, your own beliefs, and you're making money specifically for your family. And even if you're working for other people or helping other people develop in their own ways, for example, at As You Wish Publishing, we help authors become more visible, credible, and profitable. So we do have a little bit of a we're actually working for people, but ultimately we do this for our family and for the betterment of the world. And so, Todd, you recently stopped working a 40-hour-a-week job.
Mm-hmm.
So how did all that play out for you? How do you feel?
I am scared stiff. No, it worked out good. It worked out well because I had done it once before. I had quit a job to start a business, and I knew we could do it because we had a successful business in the past. So having taken another job, you know, years later, and then quitting it as of recently, and coming into this publishing business that you started. You know, I had a lot more confidence because I had already done it. But you know, if you take into account the, you know, what the experience has been like, whether it's the first time or you know, probably the first time for a lot of people, yeah, it can be scary for sure. But you want to just make sure you get your ducks in a row and do as much work as you can, and hopefully, you know, at minimum, I can say, you know, at least have an idea for your business, mm-hmm. and get the wheels greased and running as well as you can. And if at all possible, try to supplement your income before you leave the job. And then when you do decide to leave the job, it's because your business demands it, essentially. Right. You know, it's not, it goes from being a part-time thing to a full-time thing. And you can, you know, on the other, and you can make a smoother transition that way. You know, on the other hand, on the opposite hand, I wouldn't quit the job and then try to think about what you want to do for a business, because it's going to take probably several months of working at it pretty consistently before you have some presence, you know, a brand, your systems in line, and money starting to come in. You know, usually there's a lot of work that happens on the front end just to get the message out there about you having a business before people start coming in. It doesn't have to be that way, but that's generally the trend. So, you know, the more that you can prepare before leaving your job, and in a perfect world, you know, have your growing business demanding you to leave your job.
Yeah.
That's the best reason to leave a job. You know, some people don't do it that way. They might just want to quit their job cold turkey and then just go explore and feel out their journey and what they're drawn to. I get that too. I recommend having some savings if you're going to do that. Yep. Just so you don't fall on your face, kind of thing. But also, you know, pick a business that you enjoy and also gives you a bit of leverage. And I would recommend choosing a business to where you are better leveraged than you were with your job in terms of trading time for money. So those are just a few tips.
And that's really good. And also don't base what you think you can make, right? And this is like an MLM or something like that says, oh, well, so and so made such and such amount of money, you can too. No. It has to be you're already making that amount of money, and therefore you are already substantiating your paycheck. Then also Todd made a really good point. You made a really good point about making sure you have savings. Have at least 3 months of savings that would cover all of your bills for at least 3 months before you take that leap. And I know I've done it in a variety of ways. I've almost always owned some kind of small business, but I've always worked part-time while I was building that business. So this last time when we opened the publishing company, I already had been working on a book for about a year, and I already knew that where I was working wasn't the best place for me. And I also had my husband, Todd, he was working a job. So, even though things were already tight, I knew that I still had that guidance, that knowing. But we had some savings. So I believed that, I could have a couple of months of figuring things out and still follow my passion in this process. But the thing is that I really had until, I think it was September, and then I really was like, okay, I've got till January to really make this work or really fail. Like, I can't be really a whole lot in the middle there. I really need to know this is going to work or it's not. And since then, we've done so well. That's why Todd has left his job, because it started to outgrow me. I couldn't manage everything that needed to be happening. So what does that mean for your business? Well, number one, I would just really stay away from anyone promising you those idealistic things like you'll make X amount of money in this amount of time, and then I would also stay away from or steer clear from paying for big time marketing packages or things like that to start your business. You can do a really beautiful grassroots simple marketing things that maybe we'll talk about in future podcasts here that will help you grow your business exponentially in a very short amount of time. So without having to spend a lot of money. And if you do all of that grassroots stuff, then you get into where you can start spending a small amount of money for marketing every month.
Agreed. And the other thing, got a couple minutes. On that note, I'll say qualify all of your business purchases. You don't want to be. The thing I see with a lot of holistic business owners is that not everybody, but the majority of them will buy things or get sold on things that they don't necessarily need. Like a fancy program when a free program would do the trick. Yeah, you might need that fancy program to manage your schedule down the road, but right now you don't need all the features and tools of that fancy program because your business hasn't grown that far yet.
Yeah.
So go look, be scrupulous. Don't get sold. Don't put yourself out of business by buying things you don't need too early. Just make sure to justify all of your purchases, every part, of your business, no matter what it is. Justify everything. Let the business tell you when it's time. Let the business's growth justify. Let the numbers of your business justify when it's time to expand, because you need to expand.
Yeah.
Not because someone sold you on that you think you need this thing, and yeah, you might need that in the future, but chances are you won't. And I can testify to a lot of that.
Me too.
Chances are you won't need it, or you won't need that much. So you want to keep your overhead costs really, really low, and qualify, identify needs versus wants. Get in the habit of doing that when it comes to qualifying any kind of purchases for your business and expenses. The thing that kills most businesses is having too much overhead and getting sold on things. And when really just some practical, critical thinking on qualifying when it's time to do this or that is really going to keep you out of the weeds. You don't have to be sold on anything. You just have to don't think that a flashy program or tool or class or something that sounds good puts you out of business because you don't know what you're needing. Do your research. There's a lot of behind the scenes work that happens as a business owner, more so than any time you're going to spend in front of people. Most of running a business is about what you do behind the scenes. And then a small portion of that is how you're actually interfacing with your customers and clients. So don't get sold with eye candy on things that you don't need. A lot of times people get sold because they hope that the thing that seems so great yet so expensive is going to bridge the gap in what they don't know about how to be successful as a business owner. And what happens is it doesn't bridge the gap. You still have to climb every greasy rung in your business to get there, and that's going to involve trial and error. It's going to involve good decisions and learning from bad decisions.
Agreed. So what I'm hearing us say today is that we're saying make sure that whatever it is that you're choosing to do, that you've got a really good solid plan. You know what you're wanting to do before you quit your job. Also making sure you have about 3 months worth of savings in your bank account. You will also want to make sure you avoid some of the MLM type speak where it says you will make such and such money per month with this new business. Say you don't go based off of what promise is made. You go based off of what somebody has put in your bank account, right? And then also we also talked about just now. Making sure that you qualify all of your purchases and do not spend money frivolously. Make sure you do your research on classes, on all that kind of stuff. Take a look at the return on investment for everything, or ROI. Mm-hmm. You'll definitely want to make sure that you're getting out at least what you're putting in. Mm-hmm. And if what you're putting in, it doesn't give you anything back, it's time to cut that off. And that could also look like time. You get time back, you get money back, and you get support back. But ultimately, you want to make sure you get your ROI, and then take that step to either leave your job or go to a part-time situation until you could substantiate completely releasing that position.
Right. And just starting off from leaving a 40-hour-a-week job to a business, when you're making financial decisions for your business in terms of expenses and things that you need, don't make any decisions based on where you're going to be a year from now or 2 or 3 years from now.
Right.
Make your business decisions based on where you are right now and what the numbers of your business are telling you, or where you're going to need to be within like 2 or 3 months max. Anything longer than that, there's just too much of a time frame. There's too much open water between here and there, and things could change drastically. In the very beginning, you need money now, so you need to run as cheaply as possible to be able to start bringing in money without having to pay out a lot of money.
That's awesome. So that and I think we'll want to talk about next time. We're going to talk about marketing strategies, some of the grassroots marketing strategies. And we would also like to talk a little bit about that, maybe some of that future planning stuff, now money versus later money, and when it comes to your business. So awesome, guys. Thanks so much. And I'm going to go ahead and sign off here. I'm Kira Schaefer.
I'm Todd Schaefer. Have you ever considered becoming a published author? Now you can. At As You Wish Publishing, we create collaborative books from authors and writers just like you who want to become published. Whether you are a new or seasoned author, you can become part of one of our collaborative books. Visit our website at asyouwishpublishing.com and see which open book projects we have for you today.